Lots of thumbs up right back at you. If you're here, if you're active, you need to be active for my session. You can't just be passive. You must be active. If you're not active, one hour will kick you out. So I'm very excited to be here. And let me show my face. I'm so excited to be here. I actually prepared slides. So you are in for a treat. And just give me a moment. Let me get myself in frame. What is Edem all about, please? But yeah, I'm excited to be here. My name is Francis, and while I am speaking, my introduction is going to come somewhere down the line, but I am going to just put up the cover of the presentation for now. Let me see. You should be able to see the slides. If you can see the slides, let me know. Okay.
Yeah, we can see them.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Adam. Yakubu, I see you. Lots of thumbs up. I'm wondering, Frank, okay, my people are cooperating. That's amazing. All right, so my name is Francis, and my session is all about how to leverage AI to grow your business. This is the day and age of AI, and it's no surprise why that actually is. So let's see. If you ask most people what is AI, many of them are going to default to telling you that AI is ChatGPT. But AI is not ChatGPT, as we'll see shortly. As a matter of fact, if you do a quick Google search and you ask what is AI, you're going to see a very lengthy description that Google's AI is going to give you. I'm not here to give you all of that. You can find it online, very accessible. But the bottom line is you discover that ChatGPT is just an application. It is a type of artificial intelligence that was built into an app, or that was built, an app that was built on top of an existing artificial intelligence framework. Okay. Actually, generative AI, which is the family that houses all the AI that creates things for us, is a subset of artificial intelligence itself. There's generative AI. It is the small child. It's one of the younger brothers of deep learning. Deep learning is the junior brother of machine learning, and machine learning is the firstborn of artificial intelligence. I'm going to leave it at that. But the whole point is that ChatGPT is not all that there is to AI. However, ChatGPT has more than 800 million weekly active users as we speak. If you knew that before now, give yourself a thumbs up. It means you're current. But most people don't know. For context, there's about 2.3, 2.5 billion people who use the internet every week. And so that's almost like saying 1 out of every 4 or 5 people that you meet on the internet have used ChatGPT that week that you're asking them about it. If they have not used it, maybe they're about to use it. But it is very rare that you bump into someone on the internet who does not know about ChatGPT. Okay? So we've established something at this point, that ChatGPT is very popular, but it is not what AI is all about. But it will interest you to know, and this was a shock to me, if you check the trends in terms of comparing how interested people are in AI versus how interested people are in ChatGPT. As we speak right now, the word ChatGPT is more popular than the word AI. That's what this graph is showing you. In red, you see the interest in the word ChatGPT. In blue, you see the interest in the word AI. As we speak right now, around here, ChatGPT has surpassed, and that is just a commendable feat. It is no joke. This is ChatGPT at work. OpenAI is doing phenomenal things. There's a lot of other softwares, but ChatGPT is just king of the hill at the moment. So when you read through, like we just went through, or maybe when I said go search what AI means, you actually searched it. if you read around long enough, you'll come to discover that there's a lot of mixed feelings about AI. And so for some people, AI represents more of a threat. You go on the internet and you hear a lot of people losing their jobs. You see a lot of people losing their jobs. Maybe you're even one of them on this call. You've lost your job or a job or some jobs to someone who was using AI or to AI itself, right? For some people, artificial intelligence is not all roses and sobolo if you're in Ghana, right? For some people, it's a very real threat. 5 million people lose their jobs, and there's projections that say that it's going to be in the tens of millions of people eventually by 2030-ish. AI is going to create some jobs, but it's going to displace a lot of other jobs. At the end of the day, there will be a net loss of jobs, actually. So it's been confirmed that there will actually be a loss of jobs. Even though AI will create new jobs, some people will actually go ahead to still not have a job at the end of the day. So for some people, AI is a very real threat. But here you see a company that's targeting $100 million in AI revenue. Already currently they were at, or previously they were at 10 million. Within 6 months, because they introduced some AI features the right way, marketed the right way, they got to 20 million revenue. Within 6 months, they are on track to hit 100 million, all thanks to AI. And so for this company, AI is a dream come true. So the question is, what's the difference between the people who see AI as a threat and the people who see AI as a dream come true? And for you on the call, which is it? Let me quickly just look at the sentiment in the chat. Just type in the chat, for you, what is AI? Is AI mostly a dream come true, or is it a threat? Just type dream come true or threat. You can type in the chat. Either dream come true or threat. It has to be one of the two. So let me see, just to gauge. I'm looking at the chats. Is AI a threat for you, or is it a dream come true for you? Someone says dream come true. Bennett says dream come true. Okay. 2 people have said dream come true. So dream come true is scoring 2 points. Threat is now 1. Now we're having 3-1. Team dream come true is 3. Team threat is 1. Okay. So fair enough. I'm going to assume that most people see it as a dream come true. Now it's good, right? It's a dream come true. Fine. But here's the question. This company is eyeing 100 million USD in revenue. For them, it is a no-brainer. It is a dream come true. We've established that over 800 million people use ChatGPT every week. I'm sure there are at least 10 of you in this chat who have used ChatGPT today. So now the question is, for those of you who said it's a dream come true, and we want it to be a dream come true for everyone, the question is, how much has ChatGPT put in your own pocket? For the company that it's a dream come true, they're putting millions in their pocket. So for you, it's a question, you don't have to type it in the chat, but it's a question you have to ask yourself, because with technological revolutions, there is very real wealth redistribution. You have to have that at the back of your mind. By discussing how to leverage AI to grow your business. And so you have to be conscious about the fact that your business should be growing. Whatever you're doing as a service, as a professional, you should be able to point at the tech revolution and say that, okay, this is exactly what it has been able to do for me. So this is where my introduction is going to come in. If you can see, for some reason, maybe let me go back and try again. But if not, then I'll just go off the top of my head. The text is not very clear on my end. But yeah, my name is Francis, and I am an international/national speaker and author. I have spoken at some very high-profile events in Ghana. I'm a business growth consultant. I am an AI tech founder myself. I have over 10 years experience with digital marketing. And as far as AI and what I've done with AI has been responsible for putting more than $500,000 US in the pockets of myself, my students, and my clients. Okay, I happen to have had the privilege of teaching at Ashesi University just twice or 3 times, and a couple of times. I've been around Ashesi a few times. They've invited me. I've spoken. I've taught their entrepreneurs. One of my companies has done work for the UNDP. And so this is me saying that for me, AI is actually a dream come true. Now, the difference between the people who see it as a threat and the people for whom AI is a dream come true is really not about the technology. And at this point, I'm reminded of the quote by one of my favorite movie characters, Vin Diesel. In one of the episodes, in one of the series, he says, it doesn't matter what's under the hood. The only thing that matters is who's behind the wheel. And so it matters who uses artificial intelligence. It matters who is using the chat GPT. It's not enough to know that there's chat GPT and okay, I'm using it maybe to, for some people, chat GPT just starts and ends with helping them cheat in their exams, right? On their schoolwork. But if it's growth that you're after, you have to understand that it beyond the artificial intelligence, beyond the tool, it is up to you to actually make that growth happen. I can give you the same AI tools that I use to help myself and my clients raise funds, close deals, and you will not get the results that we have because there is something about me as a person. There's something about my mentality. There's something about my experience, my attributes as a person, my diligence. We'll get into some of the characteristics later down the line. But there's just something that makes it so that if you give the exact same set of tools to two different people, they end up with two different results. I'll give you an example. If you go back in time, a few years ago, and you saw Jeff Bezos and you asked him what tools were you using at the time, he was using HTML. He was using C++. These are languages that today are not even considered viable or serious languages. If you tell somebody looking to hire you as a developer that you're good at HTML, they look at you like you're joking. But back then, when Amazon was in its early days, that was all they had. HTML, basic, maybe CSS, C++. That's how they built their website. There was no ChatGPT. There was no Google even. Microsoft Word was still in its archaic form. There wasn't Google, there was Yahoo. But Amazon built a $2.3 trillion empire. Jeff built a $2.3 trillion empire off the back of tools that today, if somebody gave you, you would feel like they are trying to sabotage your career. So the question is and he wasn't the only one who had access to these tools. So what made him different? It's what he did with the tools. It's his mindset. It's the things that I'm about to show you. He understood what it takes to grow a business. If you give someone who understands what it takes to grow a business the right tools, they will grow that business. But if you give those same tools to someone who doesn't know how to grow a business, doesn't matter what you give them. Give them even the premium version of Gemini. Give them the $200 version of ChatGPT. They will not make money. They will not grow their business. If you're following, let me know in the chat. Just let me know I'm following. You're following? Awesome. Awesome. So the presentation, while we're going to eventually talk about a few AI tools, my presentation is really hinged on this first block, this first principle about what it takes to grow a business. This is not about what it takes to start a business. This is about what it takes to grow a business. I was told that I'm going to be speaking to entrepreneurs, so that's how I prepared. What it takes to grow a business, because if you have what it takes to grow, then you will know what to use artificial intelligence to do. Okay. In the early days, I used to mix things up when I was a very young entrepreneur. I started my entrepreneurial journey as far back as when I was 9 years old. That's a story for another day. But there was so much that I didn't know. I thought that you needed certain things to grow your business. Meanwhile, those are the things that you needed to start, and I was mixing it up. So just for context, what it takes to grow a business, if you said it takes capital, you're not wrong. If you said you need capital to grow, you're not wrong. But you are more accurate if you say you need capitals to grow a business. This is what I have found. And this is the key takeaway that I want everyone on this call to leave this call with. Okay? You may not need capital to start a business. To start a business, you just need courage, you just need an idea, and you need dedication and the willingness to just push through pain. But if it's to grow a business, I have discovered that it takes capital. But the thing is, I want to ask and encourage you, do not assume that you understand what I mean when I say capital. Because capital is different from capitals. And as we will see, and from my experience, The understanding of capital is where people begin to get tripped up. Okay, so for the purpose of our conversation, this is my definition. Capital is the summation of all the resources required for production, expansion, and operation of a business entity. That is capital, right? So capital is not just money, is the point I'm trying to make. Capital is more than money. Capital includes money. There are 4 classes of capital. The first class is financial, but that's not all that there is to capital. There's financial capital, and you won't see this anywhere else. There is social capital, intellectual capital, and operational capital. So already you can see that most people who say they want to grow their business are really moving a bit in the dark. Some of them are moving blind. Some of them actually know that they're supposed to learn certain things, but then they refuse. I call those people arrogant people, because to me, if you don't know something and you're not willing to learn that thing, then you are arrogant. Okay, you are not just ignorant, you are arrogant. But the fact that you're on this call shows that you are willing to learn, so you are definitely not arrogant. And at the end of this call, every trace of maybe ignorance that you may have had before, it's going to be gone. The things you're about to see on this screen will set you apart from 90 to 95% of the people you'll be competing with in your business sphere. Because I know for a fact that most people do not even take the time to educate themselves. And I know that your competitive advantage usually starts with what you have done to your mind. You might want to write that down. Your competitive advantage starts with the things that you have done to your mind. So there are 4 classes of capital for growth. And the reason I'm sharing this is because later on, I'll show you how to use AI to grow your business using these 4 capitals. I hope it makes sense now. That's how we're going to tie everything together, okay? So stick with me. I may not go through every single point I have here, but it's important that you just pay attention, okay? If you want the slides, you can speak with Nana after the session. We can arrange for that, but please pay attention. Under financial capital, you need cash reserves. Some people call it savings, right? You can either work with your savings or investor funds or a blend of both. It's important that you do either one of these. Investor funds is different from going to take a loan. Please do not leave this call and say Val told you to go and borrow money. Most times, informal lending causes more harm than good. So I don't want to encourage that at all. But you do need to have cash reserves. Okay. Now the thing is, a lot of people think that, oh, okay, the reason I'm struggling is because I don't have the money to grow my business. But it's not true. Like you see here, there are 3 other types of capital. And what I've found is that if you have the operational capital, intellectual capital, and social capital, the financial capital will just manifest. Literally. And so people go about looking for finances the wrong way. Most times they feel like, okay, I have to go, because for instance, you say, okay, I want to go pitch to an investor and that I'm going to get cash. But if you don't have there's a certain amount, there's a certain component on the operational side, for instance, that the investor will look at and be like, this person is not ready for investment. Okay? So you need to be structured properly. When we get to operational capital, you see a bit of that. Okay? But it's important that you understand this. Focus on building the other forms of capital. And one day you wake up and discover that you have access to more money than you even ever hoped you could have to run your business, honestly. Okay? And it also takes away the excuse that most people have. Most people think that the reason they are not growing is because they don't have funds. This will show you, this has shown us that it is not just not true. Okay? Aside financial capital, you need social capital. There's a specific set of individuals that you must have in your life, in your business life, if you will grow. You need mentors, you need mentees, you need a strong team, you need strong founders. You need to be part of leadership networks. You need to surround yourself with people who are on the same mission as you, people who are more advanced than you, people who are at your level and higher. You need them in your business if you're going to grow. Okay? The reason you need mentees is because there's a dimension of growth that you cannot unlock until you have impacted the generation coming behind you. Okay? There's a level of fulfillment you will never have until you give back. There's a reason why billionaires are always giving out their funds, their money, some of them to their children, some of them to other charities. It's part of the whole thing. They are doing it not just because they are good people and they're benefiting the beneficiaries. There's a part of them that will not be happy if they don't do that. There's a part of their business that will not grow if they don't do that. Okay? You also need a starving crowd. I asterisked the starving crowd because it is not spoken about enough. A starving crowd. The term starving crowd came, I'll tell you how it came about. There was a report. There was a new business owner. He met his mentor, and his mentor was asking him if let's say you met a genie, or you got a wish from God, or whatever wants to believe grants wishes, right? And you could ask for just one thing to grow your business in our city. What would you pick? Would you pick, I want my shop to be at the street corner? Or would you pick, I want to be the one manufacturing the best kind of food? Or what would you pick? And the new business owner just thought for a long time, and he said, you know what, I want my business to be along the part of the road where a lot of people are passing through. He was thinking that was a very smart decision, smart choice. And to be honest, to a degree, that is better than being in an obscure location. But his mentor told him, the number one thing that you need to grow any business is a starving crowd. The people who are passing, if they are not hungry, they won't come into your shop. So you need a large group of people who are very hungry for the thing that you're selling. Now, I'm going to pause a bit here because this is something that is not spoken about enough. Nana asked the question earlier when Precious was speaking. Sometimes you make a post, you talk about things that are value adding, people engage, you share your life stories, people are engaging. Then you now post something that is, okay, I want to sell some, and then they are like crickets. Why does that happen? In addition to what Precious shared in that your storytelling matters, there's also the angle about who exactly it is that you attracted in the first place. If the people you attracted, if the people you're speaking to in the first place are not hungry for that thing, it doesn't matter how well you sell, it doesn't matter how compelling your story is, they will not buy. Okay, this thing took me years. I've been in digital marketing for a long time. I can tell you that for more than half that time, I did not understand the implication of what I'm about to tell you. So this is 5 years of my life suffering that I'm just saving you stress. Here's the key. When you craft your lead magnets, do not craft your lead magnets to attract people who cannot pay you. A lot of people do that. You craft your lead magnets and you're telling people things like 5 free ways to, let's say, for instance, you do, let's say you're a hairdresser, and you're telling people in your lead magnets 5 free ways to dress your hair. The people who are going to download that thing are people who most likely are interested in free stuff. So they will find value in it. They will give you thumbs up. But because it was something about free approaches, you can't assume that because they took the one that was free, that they like the one that is paid and they can pay. So that's a big thing. Like when I understood this, it exploded possibilities for me. I started reorienting my lead magnets to attract the kind of people that have a specific kind of pain. In other words, the only people that will ever download my lead magnets are the kind of people who are having the exact pain that after they finish reading it, they will ask me, please come and take my money. I want you to solve it for me this night. Not how can I do it for free. What I just unlocked can put tens of thousands of dollars into your account if you understand it. If you understand it. If you go on my LinkedIn and you scroll on my profile, on my featured section, you're going to see a free resource that I have there. 4 simple steps that drove $175,000 in sales. 4 ad tweaks. It was 4 simple advertising tweaks because I used to at least run paid advertising for agencies, and I've been doing this for a long time. So combined, we've done a lot of sales, but I was intentional about the name I gave that particular resource, right? You're not going to download that thing if you are not in advertising, if you are not already frustrated that your advertising is not making money, and if you are not used to hearing the sound of quote unquote big money. You will see it and be like, well, there's no point down. If you're not my ideal buyer, you will see it and think, okay, I don't really have, my business is not at that point yet. So it saves me the stress. It saves them the stress. They don't need to download it. But even if it's just one person that downloads it, I know that that one person most likely will buy the thing. That is how intentional you should be about your lead magnets, about a starving crowd. Okay. It's also important when you're writing your posts on LinkedIn, you need to understand how to write and tell stories in a way that agitates people, in a way that kind of, I don't want to sound mean. I promise I was not a bully in secondary school, but you want to be the person who is a friend, that is sympathizing with them, but you're still sprinkling salt on their wound somehow. That's what you want to do. You need to be like that so that they know that, okay, this person cares about me. But at the same time, they just made me feel like, see, this is my problem. I still have this problem and I have to solve it. If you don't do it that way, they will like your content, but they won't be motivated to buy. Statistics have shown that, unfortunately, the number one psychological trigger that gets people to act, among all the other ones, love, commitment, my integrity, all of that, they have effects to a degree. But statistics have shown that the most potent human emotion for driving action is fear. So when you can paint the picture to show that, oh, okay, you've been making a certain mistake, and if you don't know what I'm about to tell you, you keep making that mistake, and if you don't fix it, only God knows what's going to happen to you. That person must listen to you. Really. That's why when they said in Nigeria they wanted to move for mass adoption, like everybody come out and get your national identification number registered, they had to come up with a threat so that everybody knows that if you don't register, they will block your phone number. It's because people are motivated by, people are motivated more by the fear of loss than the desire for gain. People will rather spend 5 hours, for instance, working so that they will not lose $1,000 compared to spending 5 hours so that they will make $1,000. Most people will not want to work that 5 hours. They will look for the shortest way. If it doesn't work, they will leave it. But if they know that for sure, I'm going to lose $1,000, they will do everything within their power. And so the importance of a starving crowd, a group of people who are in the kind of pain that you need them to be in, cannot be underestimated. This is how you grow your business. The number of people who are starving for ChatGPT is high. If you don't use it, you know that you're losing productivity automatically. Your competitors are using it, so you better use it. Otherwise, you're not serious. So Amazon, the same thing. If you want to burn your fuel, go to the store, then find out that what you were looking for is not even there in the first place, then no problem, go ahead. But if you want efficiency, just search for it on Amazon and buy it. They'll bring it for you. Okay? So you have to validate the potency of the pain that you are solving. I hope I have made that point clear. That's on the social side. Social speaks about the kind of people you have to have relationships with as a business, in your business, for your business. Then you have intellectual capital. Intellectual capital is all about having a certain set. It's the most elaborate, like you can see, because that is really the hub. If I was to grade it, or if I was to put these capitals in sequence, I would say start with intellectual. Intellectual will attract social. When you have intellectual and social, you will know how you should operate. And when you have those three, the finances will appear. That's what I have found. And so when people laugh at people who watch YouTube videos, read business books, listen to podcasts, just don't mind them. Leave them alone. Okay? Because most people don't understand that it is what you put inside you that determines the kind of possibilities that you have. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. It is what is on your head, in your head, that determines whether or not your cup will run over. Intellectual capital is it saved my life. It has changed my life. I don't know how else to explain it. Under intellectual capital, because of time, you need to understand the business model that you're in. You have to master it. You shouldn't just be good at it. You shouldn't just understand it. You must master it. Okay. I have some. This is not me plugging anything, but I'm just trying to say that all these capitals and everything, if you hang around me long enough, you join any of my sessions, webinars, anything, you just learn. It's part of the social thing, being in the right places. When you're in the right places, it has a way of giving a positive feedback loop to intellectual capital. Okay. So, but that's that. You need high income skills. Okay. There are skills that if you have, they won't pay you so much. There are skills that if you have, you can get paid a lot for that, even in business. Okay. So for instance, high income skills for entrepreneurs, if you don't know how to do public speaking, you are shortchanging yourself. That is a high income skill. Public speaking, the ability to command attention, to have a crowd be captivated, to listen to you, is a high income skill. You need to understand leadership. You need to understand deal making. People don't talk about this enough. I don't know why, but literally, the way I think and the way any wildly successful person thinks is they think in terms of deals. They think in terms of negotiation. They know that life is negotiable, that any possibility you have in life can be changed if you understand how to make the right deal. If you understand how to negotiate your way out of anything, you would eventually start seeing life like a chessboard. Okay? You need grit. You shouldn't be the kind of person that gives up easily. Okay? You need meta learning. You need to know, you need to learn how to learn. That is what meta learning is. There was a time when I had to take a course on how to speed read, right? Because I was trying to optimize my ability to learn. Because someone said, it was Jim Quick, he said, if knowledge is power, learning is a superpower. And learning is something that you can improve. So I had to learn how to read faster, how to calculate faster. I had to learn all these things you're seeing. Nobody's born with them. You have to learn them. So the difference between you and anybody who is wildly successful today is because they probably started learning these things much earlier and they've gotten better at it than you have. You need premium intelligence. You can't be doing business with the same random information that everybody can find on Google. Okay? There are things called trade secrets, premium intel. I don't want to belabor the point. Beyond intelligence, you need to know what to do with it. That's wisdom. And then you need to have beliefs. One major difference between the wealthy and the poor is really the way that they think. Okay? So you must sustain beliefs that are compatible with growth in entrepreneurship. I have to speed up a bit. For operational capital, you need to have the right business structure. You shouldn't be running a business as a partnership when you should be running it as a limited liability, for instance. Those are two different things. You shouldn't be, aiming for an IPO when you should be trying to build something that's more, retail oriented. Okay? Systems, marketing and sales systems, product development systems, financial management systems, human resource management systems. You need partners. And then in addition to a starving crowd, which you see on the social side, I've also put here a hot offer. Now, a product is different from an offer. People don't understand this. People think that the offer is the product. They ask, Precious mentioned, okay, you need to have offers. Some people will think, okay, I have an offer, I do graphics design, that is my offer. That is not your offer. That is your service, that is your product. It is not an offer. A product is the tangible thing that someone, let's say this is a hard drive, right? This is a product. It is not an offer. An offer is an emotionally charged reason for someone to take action and buy this thing. And so if you're a graphics designer, your offer might be something along, there are different ways to phrase offers. You can say something like, I don't just do graphic design. I'm the reason why you will attract better paying clients. I'm the person who designs your graphics in such a way that the rich in society will look towards you. That is a very different proposition from saying, I do graphics design. Okay? If you tell someone, I'm going to handle all your design and I'm guaranteeing that you will make $10,000 more because of the things that I designed for you. If not, you don't have to worry about paying me or I'll refund you. That is an offer. You're giving people an emotional reason to look your way and buy the thing that you're selling. You need to understand delegation as well. Okay? When you start out, most times you'll be alone. that's fine. But you need to understand that you start out as one man, as one woman, but your goal should not be to remain one woman or one woman, right? You should, as much as possible, it takes discipline. The way you get to the point where you can delegate is by understanding what a system is. Again, it's a word thrown around very often. Not many people explain it. I'll explain it for you. The reason you feel like sometimes you can't delegate because you feel like you don't have the money to delegate is because you have not actually done the first steps, the first few steps that will get you the money that you can now use to delegate. One of those first steps is documentation of your procedures, standard operating procedures. If you have that, that is the first step. And it ties into what I said about what a system is. A system, please, if you're writing, write this down. A system is a combination, it's an entity that produces a specific output given a specific input. A system is, you can also define it as the interrelationship between actors and protocols for the purpose of giving a specific output, given a specific input. I'll take it again. A system, you can define a system, this is my definition, is the interrelationship between actors and protocols for the purpose of producing a specific output given a specific input. Okay? If you are still following, let me know. I hope I'm not speaking too fast. But okay, if you're getting value from everything I've been sharing, just also let me know. Because these things, I feel like this is the core of tonight's session. Okay? This is the core of tonight's session. If you understand this and you don't even use any AI at all, you will still beat most of your competition. How many of us agree? If you agree that just knowing this alone, even without AI, is enough to crush your competition. Nana's giving thumbs up. Exactly. Yakubu, Josephat, exactly. Just understanding this alone, without even any addition of AI, you are already dangerous. Okay? And I challenge you, look at any business that you admire today. They have these things sorted or more sorted than the people who are struggling. So sometimes you find that you actually have some of these things, and then the question becomes, okay, it's really not about whether or not you have them, it's about how much of it do you have. So it's a very important question that we have here. How much capital do you have? So when we ask that question, you now know what we mean. When I ask you that question, at least you will know what I mean. I'm not asking you how much money you have in your bank. I'm asking you how much of each of these capitals do you have going for you, going for your business. Okay. Now we're going to get into leveraging AI to grow your business. So the actual tools, again, because of time, I'll have to just rush through. I'll maybe slow down at the end during the workflows sections, but I'll tell you about tools and workflows. There are tools that you can use to perform certain tasks, right? But then there are workflows. Workflows are the combination or the aggregation of different tools to achieve a certain automated task, to carry out a certain automated task. Okay, now I've broken the tools down into the capital classes so that you see how everything works together. So for financial capital tools, there are many, but these are just some examples. You can use Tactic, you can use Beautiful.ai, you can use ChatGPT, you can create custom GPTs, right? And the reason I'm not going to spend so much time on these is because you can easily look these up, look for tutorials on YouTube, and if you have a growth mindset, you will figure out how to use them. Nobody is born knowing how to use these things, okay? So all you need to know in the age of AI is what tool to use, and then you go learn it, or you get someone who knows how to use it, and then you're on your way, okay? So for financial capital, the tools that you're advocating here are tools that will help you better manage your finances, tools that will better help you attract investments, tools that will help you be more efficient with managing your resources, okay? Tactic is good at that. Zenny.ai helps you with tracking how much you're spending, and so on and so forth. There's QuickBooks AI actually, right? These are some tools that you can use. for financial capital augmentation and efficiency. Social capital. There's a tool called Clay. I don't know if you know about it, but it's if you've used Airtable, it's similar, but it's it's a mind-blowing system. It helps you perform what we call lead enrichment. So what lead enrichment is, this is what I've used it to do anyway, is you can plug in somebody's LinkedIn URL, for instance, this is an example, into Clay. And Clay is able to go fetch for you that person's phone number, that person's website, that person's other social media handles, that person's email address, right? So you have enriched the data you have on that lead. That is what lead enrichment is. Clay helps you do that, but it also helps you manage the relationships. It's like a CRM. So as you progress in the relationship with that lead, Clay can update that status for you so you can see it there. And you can do it automatically, okay? There's Dex, similar use case. Then there are tools like Taplio, Authored Up. These help you with your LinkedIn management. Something that I find very stressful on LinkedIn is commenting. To be honest, this is an augmentation to something that Precious mentioned. You have to comment, that is true. But if you are thinking in the age of AI, the way you should, you'll be looking for ways to enhance your speed at doing that thing. For you to see success with commenting, you need to comment at least on 5 people's posts. And if you're going to be intentional, you have to actually sit down and think. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't sit down and think and make your comments, or sit down and think and come up with your posts. I'm saying be intelligent, be more efficient with that process. Tools like Taplio can help you automate part of it. You have to be careful though. Automate doesn't mean you set it and forget it. For most of these AI tools, it has to be a collaborative effort, okay? So just bear that in mind. So on and so forth. This is for social capital. Intellectual capital. There's a very interesting tool. I don't know if you know about it. It's called Synthesia. You can also use HeyGen. HeyGen helps you clone yourself. Synthesia helps you clone yourself so that literally people can watch videos of your avatar talking. Like the avatar will be reading the scripts that you provided. Okay. Now that's Synthesia, leveraging your ideas and creating videos out of it. Some people feel like, oh, I don't have time to sit down in front of a camera and create a YouTube video. There's Synthesia, there's HeyGen. Okay. There is Gamma, there is Canva. I'm more of a Canva person, but there's Gamma as well. The points behind those is that they help you present your ideas in a way that looks professional. You need to learn how to use the tools, but once you do, it gives you that professional feeling that Precious talked about. You have to take your design, your appeal seriously. In one of the programs that I teach about how to craft an irresistible offer. One of the components, there are 10 of them, one of the components is a premium look and feel. People have to feel that you are premium when they look at your visuals, okay? That has to happen when you take your presentation very seriously. Then there's ChatGPT. ChatGPT is more like, it's almost overused, but if you know how to use ChatGPT, very, like, honestly, I'll give a case study. There was a proposal that I worked on with someone. So it was 2 humans, 2 of us. He has like 13 years of experience in marketing. I have like 10 plus years of experience in marketing. We came together, we're using ChatGPT, we submitted a proposal, we won the job. It was an international client's job. That proposal that we won, it was $250,000. What we used was ChatGPT, plus our own brains, obviously. Okay, so you need to understand that there's almost no limits to how much you can earn if you use the right tools. Okay, all of these I don't want to read line by line, but I believe you get the point. So these are intellectual capital, tools for managing intellectual capital. Let me see. 1 second. I hope my screen is still visible. Is my screen still visible?
It's visible.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Awesome. So I've spoken about intellectual capital, and then we will touch on operational capital next. So operational capital is where like automation even comes in, and I've done a lot of fun stuff using operational workflows. For instance, I've created a workflow that conducts an audio-based quiz on WhatsApp while you're on WhatsApp. So on WhatsApp, you can take a quiz by interacting with a WhatsApp bot, by talking to the bot. Most bots you find just allow you type. I built something that allows you to use your voice, answer questions. At the end of the day, you get a customized report, and whoever is creating the quiz gets to have in-depth information about you, and that helps them come up with better offers for you. It gives you the ability to craft tailored offers, personalized offers for people. The way I built that was using some of the tools you're seeing on screen. So tools like make.com, highly recommend. If you learn how to use make.com, you would have mastered what some product people call API integration, right? Make.com allows you, it's a no-code platform anyway, that allows you to just stitch together the APIs of different applications so that they behave in a workflow-like manner. Okay, hope that makes sense. There are platforms you can go to and hire AI agents. 11x.ai is one of them. There are tools that you can use for project management. Notion is one of them. ClickUp is one of them. I've used both of them. I'm more of a ClickUp person. And so the rest is about workflows. I'm about to round up. So this is a simple ops workflow where you can generate your content plans in Notion. Then you can use Descript to either create the voiceover or create the video script. And then you can push that into Zapier. Zapier will push it into Buffer. Buffer will post on your different social media platforms. And then Axe Viable can help you with analysis. Okay? This is a simple workflow for finance. You can essentially use this to take what you have in your database, let's say your financials, create very beautiful pitch decks, write the emails and the contents for the pitch decks using ChatGPT, and then you can track the outcomes of those proposals in something like Clay or Affinity. So this is me just showing you what workflows can look like. So you're stitching together different tools to arrive at an outcome. So if you've been paying attention, I must congratulate you, honestly, because not many people know the things that I've shared, and you've just joined a very small group of people who have that opportunity. I tell people that, and this is my closing line anyway, in the age of AI, you have to take the opportunity seriously, because your children, the next generation, they will not understand how it was possible that you had the kind of opportunities we have today and you did not maximize it. Okay, so thank you, and once again, congratulations. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, and I think I will open for questions at this point. Awesome.
Thank you, Francis. Thank you so much. Our first question is from David. He says that, which AI tool do I use for SOP generation?
SOP generation, you can use ClickUp to do SOP generation. You can use Notion to do SOP generation.
So David, did you get that, please? All right, please, do we have any other questions, please? So my question is, for ChatGTP, are there some specific prompts we are supposed to be using there so that we can get unique results from it for our business, for business growth?
Yes, definitely. So the thing with prompts is you definitely should take prompt engineering seriously. I didn't touch on it for a very specific reason. The reason is there are many different businesses and types of businesses represented here. So I can't really break down or give examples for every possible type of business, but I will tell you this: in prompt engineering, you need to understand what you need to understand is you need to be very clear in the instructions you're giving to the AI. That's the first thing. And you need to be detailed in your communication. I tell people that if you can write clearly, like if you can give instructions to a 5-year-old, you can do prompt engineering. The challenge is most times people think that they write clearly, but they don't. So they may say, okay, for instance, I want a social media post. Then they'll go to ChatGPT and write, I need a social media post. Enter. That's what most people do. Meanwhile, someone else can say, okay, this is me. Let me walk through how I would create a prompt for a social media post. So you see the difference between someone who is using AI well and someone who's not. I can start by saying, I run a brand where I provide graphics design services. I have the brand archetype of the magician. My brand voice is a blend of Disney and Mercedes. I have content that I have put out in the past around these content pillars A, B, C, D. My current audience size is this. My highest engaging post, my highest, or let's say my post with the highest engagements was a post about this. And the content I want you to create for me is a content that achieves top of mind awareness for people who have not seen me before. And this is the structure I want you to follow. I want you to start with a headline that will evoke a certain emotion, let's say fear. I want you to follow up with a sub-headline. I want you to write the body in bullet point format, and I want you to end with a call to action that's very catchy, very memorable. These are the hashtags that I usually use. Enter. Can you imagine the kind of posts that ChatGPT will create based on what I just said? I think, Nana, this was your question. You can
Yeah.
see how detailed.
Yeah.
That is the difference
Yeah.
between professionals who use ChatGPT and people who just use ChatGPT
Yeah.
randomly. Okay. So the thing with AI, like I said, it matters who is using it. What that means is the expertise of the person using it has to come to play in writing the instructions you give AI and the instructions you give ChatGPT for it to work. If you have that general rule down, then you're better off. Just it's about attention to detail and being as explicit as possible.
All right.
You're muted.
So sorry about that. Thank you so much for the slides for this presentation. For the AI tools, we need to sit down to explore them one by one to see the free ones so that we choose the one we want because it's a lot. And thank you. Do we have any other questions? Because time is fast. And do we have any questions for him? All right. So Francis, thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for coming. Thank you. And I'll talk to you again. I'll reach out to you again after the session. Thank you and God bless
You're
you,
welcome.
Francis.
All right, cheers.
All right. Vanessa, please, are you on the call? Vanessa, please, are you on the call?
Hello, yes, I am.